Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to week 34 of our weekly recap. A few things to unload over the last week here. So we will start with the cancellation of a program that the government canceled for the first-time buyers. We'll talk about the Bank of Canada holding the rates and then the TREB numbers for February stats. And then we'll get into our weekly areas of the downtown surrounding areas, Don Mills, Leaside, Mount Pleasant, Davisville, and Yonge and Eglinton, and Durham. So first off, I just wanted to thank you guys all again for always watching and taking the time to watch or listen and or read our blog. We really appreciate it, and we would appreciate it even more if we can get a little bit of a like or subscription there on the YouTube page, which is below. So just appreciate all of you guys that take the time to listen to us on a weekly basis. So we'll get into the cancellation of a program that the government did last week for the first-time buyers incentive. This was a program that came out in 2019. Not a program that not many people use. The program is not taking away, though, from what we see being used more on a regular basis, which is to be able to put down as low as 5%, to be able to take out money from your RRSPs for your down payment, the land transfer rebate for first-time home buyers, and there's a new first-time home buyer savings account. So that is all still there. This does not affect that stuff there. This program was to, let's say you put down 5%, the government will be able to put down an additional 5% for you to help you with your down payment to bring down your monthly costs. But then that gives the government 5% owner of your property. So if you sold it, if you bought it for 500, you put that, they would help you with 5%. And then if you sold for $1 million, let's say 10 years from now, then you would have to owe them $50,000 there. So they would take 50% or 5% of your equity that you would gain from there. So that's something that was not used very often, and something not to worry about as much if you are hearing that and thinking that, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to the first-time home buyers in my family or myself. So I would say don't worry about it, but if you do have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out and or talk to one of your mortgage brokers that you may have. We have some if you do need some. Now we will get into the good news or bad news or no news for some people, which is the Bank of Canada holding their rates. We saw inflation come down a little bit, which is a good sign, but we were not predicting that they were going to lower their rates anyways. It's more of a summertime thing, I do believe. So we will keep an eye on that and see what they will keep doing, if they'll keep holding it or if they'll eventually lower it a little bit sooner than expected. But as of right now, I would say we would just keep an eye on the inflation numbers that will come out in the next few weeks. The market is starting to pick up a little bit, so that might push it a little bit more into later summer or midsummer there. So good news or bad news, it's depending on what state you're in. If you're looking to renew your mortgage right now, then it's going to be a little tight. So again, talk to your mortgage broker to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into for when you do refinance your property. And then now we'll get into the monthly stats that came out, or yearly stats actually, and then we break it down into monthly numbers as well, just to give you a good idea of what's going on month to month. Price wise, which is pretty good, we're seeing numbers are pretty flat, just 1% increase compared to last year. This is really good, but month over month we saw an increase of 8%. This is normal because usually January is a pretty slow month overall. So this is something that was expected to see, but it is nice to see that year over year that numbers are pretty flat, especially since new solds are up 17% year over year, and month over month up 32%. So with that increase, we would sometimes expect a little bit more of a price increase. So it's kind of good to see that numbers are pretty flat overall. We'll just check out all the different home types. We'll start with detached. Overall, again, prices are going to be pretty flat year over year, but month over month we are seeing an increase more in the 905 area for the detached, and then for semis, again, we are seeing a little bit more of an uptick year over year at 5% to 6%, but we saw the most increase in the 416 area at 10% month over month. So it's something to think about there. And I do see the mid-range home types, townhouses and semis, increasing a little bit more, especially in the downtown core. It's just that nice buffer zone where people come from condos, just to upgrade to a semi or townhouse to eventually get to that end dream goal of owning a detached home in the beautiful city of Toronto. So townhomes, as we talked about, again, we saw 416 a little bit more of an increase at just over 8%, and the overall GTA just under 5% there, right? So year over year, prices are pretty flat overall. And then we get to the condos, pretty flat month over month and year over year, which is pretty good in the sense that there is a little bit more inventory, especially in the 416 area. And an interesting number that we saw recently is that of all the listings in the downtown core, 44% of them are vacant. So that means a lot of landlords are feeling it. And if they are vacant too, then they're feeling it even more because they don't have rent coming in, even if it is at a loss. It's still zero rent, so that's a $2, $3, $4,000 a month that they're throwing away essentially. So the vacant homes could be also from people that have bought a new property, as I said, upgrading from a condo to a townhouse or a semi, and they have their home vacant for sale. That would be a small percentage, I would think, still, but 44% is still pretty high for the amount of listings that are out there. So they are presenting a little bit more opportunities for some people and or new investors to come in, especially if bond yields continue to come down a little bit, which will lower the fixed rates. And then once especially they do lower the Bank of Canada rates, I think we will see a little bit uptick there in sales for the condo side. Since months of inventory is at just under 2, that means if we had no inventory come out in the next 2 months, we would sell out there of all the inventory that's available. So we are in an interesting time. We still need more inventory. That has been the narrative for as long as I can remember. And we are slowly seeing a little bit of uptick there, but then we are seeing a little bit of uptick in the sales too. So it's kind of staying pretty flat overall. And then we'll get into our little weekly numbers just to be able to kind of better assess some of those numbers for you. Because the monthly numbers that I mentioned are numbers that we are already knowing since we are giving them to you weeks in advance. So let's go to the downtown core area. Again, listings are pretty flat overall for the condo and freehold side, but we are seeing an uptick in sales, especially on the condo side, which is great. There are more opportunities there. Things are still lasting in the market for about a month, and for the freehold side, it's about 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So freeholds are still moving a little bit better overall, but I think there are some more opportunities on the condo side, especially in the downtown core, with the amount of inventory there, since we're just over 2,000 for active listings. And then for the Don Mills area, we're seeing pretty flat overall for active listings on the condo and freehold side. Things are picking up for sales. We saw 9 sales compared to 8 last week, so we are seeing a little bit more movement in the Don Mills area for the freeholds, as those 9 listings that just sold in the Don Mills area for the freehold side, all of them, the average days on market is 8. So that means these homes are selling almost within a week, right? So things are starting to really pick up. Again, if they're priced properly, showed really well with staging, then things will start to move a little bit better. And then the condo side, it's overall pretty slow, but we won't see too much of an uptick there. I think in another few weeks, or when Bank of Canada mentions that they're going to lower the rates next announcement. Then for the Leaside area, again, pretty flat overall for active listings, but we are seeing on the condo side there an uptick in the solds there. So, and again, for the 13 solds that sold in the Leaside, on the freehold side, again, average days on market is 8. So things are really moving there, especially if they are priced well and show well. So interesting there, little tidbit there. So things are starting to move, especially in the freehold side, a little bit outside of the core. And in the Durham area, pretty flat overall, again for active listings, and for solds, things are taking about 2 weeks to 3 weeks to sell on the freehold and condo side there. So that was a lot to unload on you guys there. If you do have any questions or concerns about the first-time buyer incentive that they canceled, the rate announcement, or the stats that came out for February, and or our stats in our weekly areas, if you would like your area and or home type to be a little bit more broken down, please don't hesitate to reach out. Would love to have a chat with you regarding that. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day. Hope you have a blessed day, and talk to you soon.